booties for black girl nerds.
Thank you to the both of you for your time. I've had the pleasure of speaking with both of you for different things, but now I get to see your immensely talented selves together, and I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The pleasure is mine. Gugu, I'll begin with you. And in the girl before, we all have these aspirations of the beautiful home, a supportive mate. I think those are all things people can aspire to. But the knife cuts both ways. Sometimes you get it, and it's not all that it's cracked up to be. For Jane, she goes into this home, and it's all great. It looks good, but there's some conditions that come with it. Would you be able, if you were given the opportunity to have whatever you want, but someone still had to puppet master a few things for it, is that something you could do? And what will Jane's journey be like with the in the girl before?
Ooh, that's kind of two questions in one. I mean, for me, I feel like, there's no price on freedom at the end of the day. And in terms of having, in terms of having conditions to live, I think I probably wouldn't go for living in Folgate Street myself. I think I like to feel a little more autonomy in my home, but that doesn't mean I can't understand or relate to Jane and the reason why she chooses that as a sanctuary at the time in her life that she does. So yeah, and in terms of Jane's journey, obviously she's coming from quite a traumatic experience. So coming into the house is sort of a fresh start for her, really. And so I think in some ways the rules and the sort of minimalism of the house are kind of sort of soothing to Jane, because she's got all of this sort of trauma bubbling up under the surface emotionally from what she's been through. So for her, I feel like it's actually more of a sort of healing process, to be able to go into the house, and everything that she discovers with Emma at the end of the day is empowering to her, because she sort of sets herself on a mission to solve it, and along with the relationship with Edward as well, and all of that and its complexity.
Yeah, that minimalism can be comforting when your life experience is chaotic and full of things, and you have this place that is orderly and beautiful. Mm-hmm. Over to you, David. For Edward, we have this genius man that's created these things, and within it, again, there are rules and conditions that come with this. When you have a genius qualities, how does genius affect the mind? How does that genius really make Edward the way that he is? He has this ability to create, but with genius, again, the knife cuts both ways.
Absolutely. I think being a genius in any form is to have power. And as we all know, power can be abused. And I think that is what we see with Edward. He is someone who is aware of his power, he's aware of his abilities, and he's aware that engenders admiration. And so that's why he is able to, almost with a kind of God complex, say, look, you can see there are things that are special about me. I have a worldview. I impose that worldview on the environments I'm in. And if you want to touch the hem of the garment of who I am, come into my world and see what the results are. And so you have, with both Emma and Jane, women who the world has failed them to a certain degree, or circumstances have failed them. They feel at sea, they feel a loss of control, they feel a need for something that feels more safe, more controlled, that is going to have a more sure footing under them. And you have someone who comes along with a set of rules and an environment that seems to provide all of that. And there is a reason why it takes huge amounts of time before Edward is able to find candidates to be in that home. It's because, very specific people who've experienced very specific things would even deign to go into that environment. But when he finds them, he holds on to them. And that's what you see in The Girl Before. You see his relationship played out with these two different women who are going through very specific things, who are drawn to him for specific reasons, and the fallout of his, I would say, abuse of power.
Absolutely. Why, thank you. That is my time. You two are brilliant, and I'm very happy to see you two in a project together. It's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. The Girl Before, sometimes when we think of aspirational things, of houses and things that we want to achieve in our lives, homes are at the top of it, but sometimes they open the doors for a host of other problems we might have had that we didn't bring to light before then. Beginning with you, Jessica, can you speak to me about Emma and what her life was like in this house and the chaos and how traumas informed that kind of chaos she's experienced in her life?
Yeah, so we find Emma before she's moved into 1 Folgate Street, where she has experienced horrific trauma. And I think her way, of wanting to deal with it is to, is to kind of like start all over again, start afresh. She wants a new house. She wants, just a fresh start, as much as, she's going to therapy and trying to do everything she can, to try and fix and heal herself and, get rid of these horrible flashbacks that she has that constantly remind her. Thinks that the best way in order to do that is to just get rid of everything attached to that, including her relationship with Simon. And her relationship with the house is that it is this fortress where she is made to feel safe and secure. I think the fact that, it makes decisions for her, takes a load off of her to, have to do that. And it's a place of safety. And I think that's what she was hoping the house would achieve for her, the change that she wanted to see in herself. So much so, I think she started to fool herself in believing that there was a change with, moving into 1 Folgate and her new relationship with Edward. But what she probably should have done was take a break from relationships and just chill out. Because as you said, it was just like a whirlwind of chaos, and the complete opposite of what she had hoped ended up happening, where she just completely lost all control of everything. And then obviously, as we all know, it ended tragically for her.
For sure. For Ben with Simon, again, an aspirational thing for a person is to have a mate or companion in their life who's protective, who has their best interests at heart. But somewhere along the line, there's a fine line between protection and controlling and keeping those things in check. When does it go off the rail? When does the line become too blurred for Simon and his relationship with Emma?
That's an interesting question. I suppose I've always thought about it from Simon's point of view, in terms of it was never too controlling for him or too obsessive. I don't think he ever really consciously sees that. He sees his controlling nature as being caring, and he sees his possessive nature in the alpha male mate, and thinks that that's what he's supposed to be, and doesn't quite seem to understand why it's not working with Emma, because he thought that's what she would want. He kind of projects that onto her. But like you say, he definitely does cross a line and go too far. I suppose if you're going to, I think the moment that it really becomes too much and goes too far is when things start going wrong. With the burglaries one moment, then moving into the house is probably a real milestone for him in terms of his relationship. He blames the house. He blames the house for their relationship breaking down. He doesn't blame himself. He blames the house. He thinks that the house has affected their relationship in this way, and that having another controlling influence, the house is controlling in itself, so having another controlling influence come in to their relationship, he wants to be the one that's in control. He wants to control the dynamic in their relationship. And he feels that having someone else come in this house, when he sees as Edward coming in, is when he's out of control, that's when he becomes more and more manipulative in the way that is where his obsession takes him, and ultimately leads him to making some really horrible decisions that would never advocate. Yeah.
Mhm. For sure. Well, I thank you. It was, I thought a lot about things of how we want these aspirational things, and they become catalysts for other things. And that was very, very fascinating. I thank you both for your time and your wonderful performances. And I appreciate you talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Have a lovely day.
You too.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.